Zan here, welcome back to another speed build. So today we are renovating, or I guess building, this apartment at 122 Hakim House in the Art District. I did one build for this particular apartment lot, I think a couple of years ago, and I used a lot of the movie Hangout stuff, which has a very particular kind of saturated colour to it. And I just didn't really like the look of it anymore and realized I hadn't been playing on this a lot because of that. So I thought I'd just do a total makeover of this apartment, and I wanted it to be for a family but have some extra rooms so that they could get some rent money from some roommates, or in this case an exchange student. I seem to do that in quite a bit of my households, like just have an extra bedroom or place on the lot where an exchange student is paying board for their room, just as some extra income for the family. So yeah, this family has, is it Morgan Fries? I can't remember how to pronounce the last name, but they were one of the townie families that had the mother, father, and then the two daughters in it. The other one was, it was Morgan and Siobhan, is that right? I can't remember. So anyway, this is Morgan, and she's married now and has a toddler. So just wanted to build them a nice apartment and put in a bunch of skill building items as well. This apartment is kind of a weird shape. It's quite boxy, I guess. So I thought having some of the rooms right at the back, and then kind of the hallway that curves around in the middle, and then the kitchen and living room at the front of the house was kind of a good layout for it. But yeah, I was trying to use these countertops, cabinets, and appliances from the Parenthood pack because I don't tend to really use them so much. But yeah, I tend to use the same kitchen counters a lot. So I thought I'd use these for a change, and then also make the living room furniture kind of match it with the same wood tone. I think, as I've said before, with a lot of the new packs that are coming out now, it's kind of easier to match a lot of the items together, I feel like, than right at the beginning of The Sims. But yeah, the last build I did, which was the modern house in Strangerville, after I recorded that, New Zealand went into lockdown, and we've been in lockdown now for 2 weeks. We've still got another 2 weeks or a week and a half to go, I think, and then on April 20th, a few days before the month is up, I think we're going to hear whether it's extended or not. But yeah, luckily I've been able to work from home. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to with my job, but luckily it worked out that I was able to. But yeah, leading up to the lockdown, it was really strange, like just already out in public, like cafes and stuff were quite empty, and there was quite a tense feeling in the air, and there was talk of possibly going into a lockdown, but no one was really sure. So I think everyone was just kind of on edge. And then I think it was like a Monday at work, the government announced that there was in fact going to be a lockdown, so we had to like gather a bunch of our stuff together at work and get instructions of how to do things, and it was all quite stressful to begin with, but luckily it's all working now. But yeah, it's just so strange at the moment. Like, we're allowed to leave the house only for essential travel, like if you're going to the pharmacy or supermarket. I know all the lockdown rules for each country are a bit different. For New Zealand, like, all takeaways are completely shut. So you can't even go out to get takeaways, and you can't go for like cruises just driving around aimlessly, which I know you can in some places. Like, my friend in LA said they can still go driving and get takeaways. But yeah, so we can't do that. We can like leave the house and walk within our neighborhood, just to get some exercise. But it's so strange when you go out walking. Like, I've never seen so many people walking out in the neighborhood as right now, And as you're approaching someone on the footpath, like they'll either cross the road to avoid you from ages away, or if they're coming towards you and you can tell that they're not going to be keeping their 2 meter distance, then like I'll walk out onto the road and make sure I don't go walk by them closely. So it's just really strange going on these walks and everyone's like avoiding each other. There were a lot of people smiling and saying hi and stuff, but we just have to keep a 2 meter distance from anyone who's not in our bubble. That's what they're calling it in New Zealand. I don't know if in your country, if you're not from here, that it's a bubble, but they're referring to like your household as your bubble, so you can only be in close contact with them and no one outside your bubble. But yeah, I'm just hearing that word bubble constantly now. So yeah, walking in the neighborhood's kind of weird, and at the supermarket you're also supposed to keep that 2 meter distance, but it's quite hard, like just walking by people in aisles if they're narrow, like it's kind of impossible to keep that distance. But they're only letting a certain number of people in the supermarket at once. And yeah, like I think it was the week before last I went to the supermarket and I had to walk around the frozen section, and this lady she ran past me and then she had to come back, and there was no other way for her to get through this narrow bit where I was without passing me, so she kind of like shuffled past quickly and was like, oh sorry. It's so weird that they apologize just for like walking close to you, but yeah, it's very, very strange at the moment. I am kind of looking forward to getting some takeaways though once they reopen. It's been good, like mostly cooking at home, but it does get a bit tiring cooking like every night. There's this story of this woman who, once she heard we're about to go into lockdown, like we had 48 hours pretty much to prepare for level 4, because we have a 4-level system here, which level 4 is complete lockdown and you can't leave your house apart from essential travel. And so once this lady had heard that we were about to go into lockdown, instead of like going to the supermarket and stockpiling like most people were, she ordered like 5 takeaway pizzas and individually froze the slices, because I think her son really liked that pizza brand and couldn't go without it for a month. I don't know, it's really strange. I don't know how frozen pizza would taste. Though my friend said it, if you like put it in a sandwich press out of the freezer, it tastes just as good as when it's fresh. But I'm not sure I'm willing to go to those lengths to have some takeaway. I think there was also a guy who froze some KFC chicken. So yeah, that's kind of something I probably wouldn't do either. But just going back to the build, here we're doing the bathroom. This is quite a large apartment, so I thought originally I would have 2 bathrooms in it, like have an ensuite for the master bedroom, but I ended up doing a walk-in wardrobe for them just because I didn't think it was totally necessary to have the 2 bathrooms, but I guess you could always add another one in instead of the wardrobe. Here the washer and dryer, it did fit in the bathroom, but I did feel it was a little bit crammed, so I ended up moving that to a little section in the hallway instead. We also have a study here next to the master bedroom's wardrobe and the bathroom. But yeah, at this end bit here, I'm about to do the walk-in wardrobe, and I use a bunch of the kitchen cabinets to make it in the end. But I think I come back and I change it to more of a darker color scheme, just because that looked a bit better, I thought. But yeah, I think these cabinets here would look nicer, I think, except that blue just didn't sit right. But the Sims team have said in recent news that over the next 6 months they will be releasing an expansion pack, stuff pack, and game pack. And we know that the stuff pack is going to be the community voted knitting one, but as for the other 2, I'm guessing the expansion pack has something to do with hotels, just based off the surveys they did. It seemed like there was a lot of questions about kind of winter sports and hotels, so I'm guessing it might be something around that. But as for the game pack, they said this pack is a major first for us. So I'm really wondering what that means. Like, is it a first for The Sims 4 or for all the Sim franchises is kind of what it sounds like, so that it's never even been done in previous Sim games before. And I was actually watching one of Molly's videos, the English Simmer, and she was kind of debating what she thought the game pack could be, and she thought it might have something to do with relationships, because also in one of the kind of surveys that the team did, there were a lot of questions about your Sims relationships and what were important parts of that for you. So that could quite possibly be something that they're working on. I'm not sure. It will be interesting to see. So here I was just placing a few clutter items in the kitchen before moving on to the master bedroom. I think that kind of bread container there and the rainbow swatch is quite cute because it looks like probably one of the children in the household has painted it. I just found that the Sims were preparing their food on that particular counter. So I think I may have moved it, and I'm not sure if I moved it for the gallery upload or not. But anyhow, here's the master bedroom now. And I decided this Sim was probably into flower arranging and plants, so we put a lot of pot plants in here as well as the flower arranging skill table. And this room I kept kind of changing between different color swatches. I was trying to get the side table to match the bed as well, but ended up changing that quite a lot. Also put in this bonsai tree. I don't think I've ever used this item in the game before, which is really strange because is it a base game item? I can't quite remember, but yeah, it's the first time I've ever placed it. So it would be good to try that out and make sense with a Sim who's into plants. And as you can see there, the walk-in wardrobe, the colours have been changed, and I used that Moschino kind of clothing setup in the middle, which I thought looked a lot nicer with the mirrors behind it too. Here against this wall, I was trying to figure out what to put there, and we end up placing some trophies, which I'm guessing the Sim has won from various flower arranging competitions, but was kind of going through a bunch of items to start with. I thought this one here looked good because of the spade, but then I thought the other items in it were a bit random and not related to gardening, so I ended up switching that one out. But in terms of new houses, I found a photo, I don't know if it was on Instagram or Facebook that it popped up, and it was of a new modern townhouse, and I was like, I'm definitely going to build that in The Sims. Like, it kind of got me excited, and I was like, this will be perfect. And then I lost the image, and I've been trying to search for it the last couple days, and I thought it was off like a real estate site, so I was like looking at that particular real estate company, but it wasn't there, so it's really annoying that I didn't save it as soon as I saw it. So it's kind of been annoying me a bit, but then I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll just do a different build. And I was thinking perhaps a retirement village might be kind of cool, because the largest lot in Brindleton Bay is that 64 by 64 lot, and it kind of looks out over the ocean, and at the entranceway it's got kind of a loop of concrete and a fountain. Like, I don't know, it looks like it would work for some sort of community, so I'm thinking a retirement village might be kind of neat there with some kind of modern little homes, but I just kind of want to search the web a bit more for some inspiration for it. It's also that mall build I was wanting to do on Starlight Boulevard in Dalsall Valley. Yeah, they're all quite big builds I want to do, so they're gonna take a while. But here we're just moving on to the toddler's room. Quite a few of these items I think might be from my first pet stuff, like the curtains and the dresser there. I mean the side table. I find the side table's always a bit big next to the toddler beds, so I did size that one down. And it was just kind of difficult placing that light there. I think it might be floating over it slightly, but I don't think it can be noticed too much. But yeah, I like how this room turned out. I think it's really cute, and I think it's quite neutral in the way that it could easily be for a boy or a girl. Usually my toddler or kids rooms that I create are probably a bit more on the girly side, so yeah, this one turned out quite cute. And that laundry basket there, I think I just moved out to where the washing machine is. But I was actually playing with a household the other day, and I was so confused because the sim I was controlling, like whenever he would take a shower or change clothes, it would just dump a pile of clothes on the ground instead of kind of that animation over the laundry basket. And I was like, is this a bug? And I was so confused by it. And I was like, I went out and tested it in different households and stuff, but it ended up being that it was just him that it was happening with. And it was because as a teenager I had aged him up, and I think he had like the bad manners trait or something. So those Sims automatically, like when they change their clothes, they just leave clothing piles everywhere. I don't know if it was the manners one or another one, but it meant he was kind of like a gross Sim. But it's actually so annoying, like that every time he changes his clothes, he just leaves them everywhere. Like I guess it makes sense for that trait, but it got to be a bit over the top. It's like so much so I might get rid of that trait because it was really annoying. But here we're just moving on to the last room, which for this family I'm playing with, this would be for like the exchange student like I was talking about at the beginning. It's just kind of a spare room. I was thinking this could have been the ensuite bathroom, but again I was okay with just one bathroom for this lot. So I just wanted this to be kind of a cozy, neutral looking spare room. So we've got some of the tiny living things in it. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this speed build. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!